I never thought I'd see her like that. Not her. My wife, the woman I had built my life around. And yet, there she was, on the cold tile of the bathroom, trembling, her mascara streaked down her cheeks, hands pressed to her chest as if trying to hold herself together. My breath caught in my throat, and I froze in the doorway. I should have knocked. I should have said something. But instead I watched. And with each passing second, the world I thought I knew unraveled in my hands. It started earlier that evening. I had come home from work later than usual, the hum of the city outside barely penetrating our apartment. I expected the usual warmth, the soft scent of her perfume, the aroma of dinner, but there was nothing. Just silence. A note lay on the kitchen counter in her familiar handwriting. Running errands. Back soon. Don't wait up. I frowned. She rarely left without me knowing exactly where she was going. Something about the phrasing felt off. But I shook it off. Perhaps she was tired. Perhaps it was nothing. Hours passed. Dinner went untouched. I poured myself a glass of wine and sat on the couch, scrolling absent-mindedly through my phone. That's when I noticed it. The ping of a notification from her phone lying on the counter. Normally, I wouldn't have looked, respecting the line of trust we had drawn in our marriage. But something in me, a whisper of doubt I had tried to ignore for months, urged me closer. Her messages were short, almost code-like, exchanged with a man named Daniel. My stomach twisted as I read a string of words that made my chest tighten. Can't wait to see you tonight, followed by, you'll regret nothing. Promise. I dropped the phone as if it had burned me. My hands shook. My heart raced so fast I thought it would break through my ribs. I wanted to scream, to demand answers, but fear anchored me in place. And then I heard it, the soft click of a door, footsteps hesitating outside the bathroom. I moved closer, heart pounding, and there she was, kneeling. Her knees pressed against the cold tile, tears streaming freely, her body racked with quiet sobs. She didn't know I was there. She thought she was alone. Emily! I whispered, my voice barely audible. She jerked upright, eyes wide, mascara-streaked face pale and vulnerable. For a moment, I thought she would fall into my arms, confess everything, beg for forgiveness. But she didn't. She stepped back, wiping her hands on her jeans, a brittle defensive edge replacing the tears. I can explain, she said, voice trembling. I laughed bitterly. Explain. You think there's an explanation for this? My hands curled into fists at my sides. My throat felt raw, each word scraping like sandpaper. How long, Emily? How long has this been going on? She flinched. It's not what you think. Not what I think. I shook my head. I just saw your messages. I know everything. I know about Daniel. I know about the nights you were working late. I know about the lies. Her face crumpled. She sank to her knees again, this time facing me, finally letting herself break. I didn't mean to. I never wanted to hurt you, she sobbed. I stared at her, the woman I had loved more than life itself, and felt something shatter inside me. Betrayal is a slow poison, but this was instant. Hit me like a bullet. The laughter we shared, the quiet Sunday mornings, the vacations, the whispered promises in the dark. They were all tainted now, all illusions. I trusted you, I said, my voice hollow, distant. I trusted you with everything, and you chose him over me? Her hands shook as she reached for me, desperate, pleading. It wasn't about him. It's about us. I felt invisible. I felt like you didn't notice me anymore, like I didn't matter. And then he listened. He made me feel seen again. I felt a strange, cold anger settle over me. Not just anger at her, but at myself, at the blindfold I had worn, convinced that our life was perfect. Invisible. Snap. Invisible. I've worked 2 jobs to keep this life for us, to make sure we never had to struggle. I've given everything for us, Emily. And you, my voice cracked. You threw it away for attention. Tears streamed down her face, but she held her ground, her own fury rising through the sobs. You don't get it. You think money and security are love, but they're not enough. I needed someone to see me as more than just the woman who keeps everything together. Her words cut deeper than any betrayal. They were raw, honest, and painful. And yet, they made the wound grow, twisting in ways I hadn't anticipated. She was right. I had been absorbed in my own world, in my responsibilities, in my version of love. But does that excuse what she did? Does it ever? I sat down opposite her, the distance between us heavy with unspoken truths. So what now? I asked quietly, barely able to breathe. She looked at me, hope flickering in her eyes, fragile and desperate. I want to fix this. I want to come back to you. Can stop seeing him. I can. We can try again. I shook my head. Try again. Emily, trust isn't something you can just put back together. You don't get to erase this with a promise. You don't get to pretend it never happened. The room fell silent, except for the quiet sobs and the hum of the refrigerator. I wanted to yell, to throw something to make the pain tangible. But I didn't. Because the moment I did, it would all be over, and there was still something left inside me that didn't want it to be over. Not entirely. I loved you, I whispered. I still love you. But love isn't enough when it's one-sided. It's not enough when one person destroys the foundation while the other builds it. Her hands trembled as she reached for mine. Please don't leave me. I pulled my hands away. The action felt like tearing off a piece of my own heart. I can't, Emily. Not now. Not like this. I need time. I need space. I need to understand if I can even forgive this. She collapsed against the wall, burying her face in her hands. I'll do anything, she whispered. Anything to make it right. I wanted to believe her. I wanted to fall into the lie that she could undo months of deceit with tears and promises. But the reality was harsher. Betrayal leaves scars that don't fade, and no amount of apologies can erase the nights I spent lying awake, wondering where she was, what she was doing, who she was with. Days turned into weeks. I stayed at a friend's apartment most nights, barely touching her food, barely speaking. Emily tried, desperately, to reach me, leaving notes, sending messages, showing up at my work. But each attempt felt like salt on an open wound. One evening, she came home to find me in the living room, a packed suitcase at my feet. She froze. "Where are you going?" she whispered, voice breaking. "I need to leave," I said simply. "I can't stay here and watch you lie to me every day. I need to figure out who I am without this. Without you betraying me." Her knees hit the floor again, the same motion I had seen weeks before, but this time it wasn't in the bathroom. It was in the center of our living room, between our scattered lives, between the remnants of our marriage. "Please don't do this. We can fix it. Can change." "I can change," I echoed bitterly. "You don't get to rewrite the past. You don't get to erase the pain you caused. I loved you, Emily. I still do. But love isn't enough to survive betrayal. I can't stay." And with that I left. Not because I didn't love her, but because loving her after what she had done would destroy me. I needed to reclaim myself, to breathe without the shadow of deceit over my heart. Months passed. The apartment felt emptier without her presence, quieter. I immersed myself in work, friends, and therapy. The nights were hardest, when the memories of her kneeling, vulnerable and desperate, haunted my dreams. But over time the pain dulled, not gone but manageable. I learned to recognize my own worth again, to see the love I had given myself before anyone else. Then one day a letter arrived. Not a note, not a message. An actual letter in the mailbox. My hands trembled as I opened it, the familiar handwriting unmistakable. "I still think about that night," it began. "The night I fell to my knees and you watched me. I wish I could take it back. I wish I had been stronger, braver, honest. I'm not asking for forgiveness anymore because I know that may never come. I'm just sorry. And I hope someday you find the happiness you deserve, with or without me." I folded the letter carefully, a lump in my throat. She had acknowledged the truth. She had taken responsibility, finally, without excuses, without demands. And for the first time I felt a sense of closure. Not the happy kind, not the fairy tale ending, but the real kind. The kind that allows you to breathe again, to move forward. I looked out the window at the city below, lights flickering like distant stars. The pain was still there, etched deep into my bones. But it no longer controlled me. The betrayal, the heartbreak, the nights of tears, they were mine now, to carry, to understand, to survive. And somehow that was enough. Because sometimes, survival itself is a triumph. Because sometimes, letting go is the bravest thing you can do. And because sometimes love, true love, means knowing when to walk away.